Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we're going to be putting some cylinder heads together and installing the Brian Tooley Racing 660 spring kit. We're going to get a workout in, let me just tell you that. So I got a set of Brian Tooley Racing valve springs. This is their Platinum 660 lift dual spring kit. They're stiffer than balls, and I got matching titanium retainers, locators, locks, and blue seals. So these are the valve seals that you have to install into the cylinder heads, because the factory valve seals are these guys, and they are actually too wide. So when you take the valve spring, the inner part of the valve spring will actually bind up on the factory valve spring. So you need to ditch the factory valve springs and run their valve springs that they give you, which are a little bit of a pain in the ass to install, just because I did not get the installer tool that they recommend or whatever. I'm just using a socket and trying to put them in with a socket. But they do fit a little bit wonky, in my opinion. They don't actually sit flat all the way down like the factory ones do. They only go down probably like 3/4 of the way down the valve guide. But I don't know, hopefully they'll be alright. But anyways, we got the these are the locators where the spring sits. So we're going to have to take out the factory valve spring. So we're going to take out, look at that, you're like Vanna White.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to pop these guys out, and then once these are out, we have to take the spring or the valve seal out. Then we have to take the spring and the retainer and the keepers out, and then we install all the new stuff. So we're going to start off by taking off the old one, and then show you kind of the process of that. We just got this, this is just like a C-clamp setup. They do make a tool for LS engines that actually bolt into where the rocker studs are, and you can do 2 springs at once, and all you got to do is tighten a nut, and it compresses the spring. It's way easier than doing it this way, but this is what we got. And this is what we're working with. So, and a lot of times it's easier to use a C-clamp style when the heads are off of the engine, because when the heads are on the engine and you use this style tool, the valve will still get pushed down, and you won't be able to, like, the C-clamp actually holds the backside of the valve, so it doesn't go down when you compress the spring. So when the heads are off, you would have to have like a block of wood or something under here to catch the valve, and sometimes that even doesn't work. So C-clamp is the best way to do it, but you definitely got to have a little bit of muscle. The stock ones are super easy. I can just pull them out like this. Kaboom. So we pulled the keepers. I compressed the valve spring, so I just pushed down on this and then grab the keepers, pull the valve spring and the retainer right out. So this is what we're working with.
Pop the valve down.
Drop that shit to the side. Pull the valve out, and then the factory valve stem seal, you just take a pair of pliers and gently kind of twist it and pull up, and they come right out. So next we have the spring locator, which is this black piece right here. This is just going to fit right over the valve guide, like so. So that's just going to rest down onto that. And then we have the new valve stem seal, which these are the tricky part. So take some Lucas Walmart 2050, and I coat the inside of the seal with some oil just to lube up the rubber a little bit, because if you install it dry, you know how that goes. Have the seal all lubed up, so we're going to put it onto the guide, and we're going to kind of just push it with our finners. You want to give it a good push to kind of get it started, and kind of make sure that it's like half-ass straight. And then what I've been doing is I've been taking a 1/2-inch socket, this is an 11mm, and taking the square end of the 1/2-inch socket and putting it over the seal and just lightly tapping it with a hammer. So did you hear at the end there how it changed pitch? That's how you kind of know that the seal is all the way down. And you do mess up the outside of the seal a little bit doing it this way, because like I said, I don't have that tool. But this method does work. Just don't whale the shit out of it when you're pounding it down. But where it's going to seal anyways is in the center. This outside area is not that big of a deal if you mess it up just a little bit. like this. It should be fine still, but we're going to take our valve now and shove it through the bottom. Oh, by the way, guys, these are remachined heads. So, like, these are the heads that came off that 400,000 mile motor. These are the heads that came off that 400,000 mile engine that I had, but I had them hot tanked, cleaned out, and then I took them to the machine shop, and he's like, oh yeah, I just took the valves out and kind of cleaned them up a little bit. So if we flip them over, these are completely resurfaced cylinder heads, and he actually cut into the seats a little bit. This is the valve seat right here, and this is the valve face. So he ground down the face of the valve and the seat so we have a good seal when the valve goes like that. You know what I mean? So got good seal there all around on all the valves. He was a nice guy to do that for me. So definitely something to do when you take apart these heads. Make sure, because a lot of them are real beat up, the valve seats and stuff. So good thing that we got all that done. Now next, we're going to take our dual valve spring and retainer from Brian Tooley. Fancy little guy right there. Goes next. Then we got the keeper, or not the keeper, the retainer. This is a titanium retainer. And then they also supply you with the new locks, or the keepers. So the keepers are going to have, sorry, my fingernails are really long. I should fucking go to, what's a beauty thing?
Supercuts.
Yeah, I should go to Supercuts. Okay, so we got the big end of the keeper right here with the lock on it. You're gonna want to face that to the up, or to the top of the valve, and then the skinnier end is gonna go into the bottom. So skinny end, we're gonna flip and put into the top of the retainer like so. And then same thing with this side. You got the fat end and the small end. The small end goes down, the fat end stays up. You know, just like that. Could have made that really dirty, but I didn't. Now that we have the keepers installed into the retainer, everything like this, we're going to take our tool again, and with the C-clamp this way is definitely tricky to do this because these springs have a shitload of tension, and let me just tell you, my arm's getting a workout. So we're going to want to put the thing on the valve again, get this to compress, and then you probably won't even have to hold that when we're doing this one, so I'll have you film quick.
Yeah.
Christian. Okay, so I'm going to do this, compress it, and then Christian's going to kind of push in the keepers into the valve so they lock into place. So I'm just going to compress it. Oh, and then we lost one.
That's okay.
Okay, so one of them, this backside one, is kind of in place already, so we're going to try to, when I compress it, I'm going to try to push forward on the whole spring and try to get that keeper to fall into place. So Christian's already prepared, and we'll push. God damn it.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, something like that. So it definitely is a workout using the C-clamp because, you know, you're pushing two springs that have a lot of spring tension. So definitely takes a little bit of might out of you, but it is doable with one of these. Like I said, if I were to do it again, I'd probably have the tool that bolts on right here to compress both springs. But we're going to knock these out, and then we'll pick back up and get some head gaskets, install them onto the engine, and install the other stuff we need to do, like the oil pump, and put the oil pan on, push rods, lifters, all that kind of stuff. Alright guys, so we got the valve springs and seals and everything installed into the cylinder heads. They are looking mint. They look really freaking nice. Got all of them in, and of course we got it all figured out by the time we got to the last few springs. They went in like butter, and the valve spring tool, I had it set up kind of wrong, so it was way harder to compress the springs than it should have been. But got it all figured out. All the springs and everything are in the head. The heads are ready to go. So we're going to move on to finishing the motor now. We got all the bottom end assembled in the last video. We were joking around quite a bit in that 40-minute video, so if you guys haven't watched it, you should go check it out. It's kind of funny, kind of stupid. You'll probably hate it, but whatever. So we got all the bottom end done, but we didn't put anything else on other than the crank and rods and pistons. So I actually proceeded to install the rear main seal, which is pretty simple. Just throw the old one right back on. Christian's over here being stupid on his phone, right?
Yeah. You gotta go to the... I know there's definitely some subscribers that use Reddit, right? You gotta check out the subreddit r/showerbeer.
Shower beer.
Shower beer.
So, anywho, we got the rear main seal installed. I put some grease on the old seal to kind of rejuvenate it, give it some life. 450,000. She's still good, not leaking, so fucking send it, keep it running. But now we're going to move on to the front half of the motor, so we're going to install the camshaft next. So I have my TIC Performance Stage 3 turbo cam sitting here on the ground, ready to fall onto the concrete and get all fucked up. So we're going to put that into there, but first I'm going to thread a bolt or two into this guy, so I have something to grab onto, like a water pump bolt usually works pretty good. Slop Mechanics always says to use a water pump bolt, so we'll use a water pump bolt. And probably going to get some Lucas Walmart oil and put it on there, and then shove it in the hole. And we'll pick up when we do that. All right, so we got 2 water pump bolts threaded into here. They're just long M8 by 125, I think they are. So thread them guys in. Then we have some leverage here. We're gonna goop her up a little bit. Put a little bit more on there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Goop it, dude.
I gotta change hands here.
Dominant hand?
Yeah.
Shower beer hand?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And we'll give her a little twist and a little turn.
A little shower beer.
Yeah, a little shower beer. Okay. Then we're gonna walk it in. Get the first one in. You gotta be kind of careful when you do this. Gonna give me some more lube up here, buddy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Walk it into the second one. Okay. Give her some oil, potato.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy with the oil. Okay. You want to kind of push it in slow. You don't want to like jam it really hard, even though you might want to. Going slow is the key here, kind of just to get her in without knocking out a bearing. There we go. She's in. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. So now we take our bolts out, go dry our hands off, and get to doing some other things. Okay guys, so now we're putting we got the cam installed into the engine, and now we're putting the cam plate on, which is held on by these 4 bolts right here. It's just a plate that gets bolted over the cam pretty much. And then next is going to be the cam gear. So this is going to be bolted on with 3 bolts, and there's a dowel pin right here, so you'll have to line up the dowel with the dowel on the cam gear. And we're going to kind of just spin the cam until it gets to the dot. So the dot on this one is, I think it's this. It's like a little indentation right here where my fingernail
Yep.
is. So that indentation should line up with the dot on the crankshaft. So there's a dot on the crank, just like so. If you see that, pretty sure that's the dot.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's no
look
other
like there's
dot anywhere
any-
else. Okay, so this is the mark. So now that we got that sort of lined up, I'm going to take the gear back off, and I'm going to put the chain on, my 400,000 mile timing chain, and we're going to wrap it around this guy, wrap it around both of them, and we're going to maneuver this so it lines right back up to where the cam was sitting. One more tooth, I betcha. Might be too much. Ooh,
No, right there.
that might be the money. Yep. It's as easy as that, honestly. It's pretty freaking simple. So then we just thread our bolts in to the cam gear. 1, 2, 3. Sing it with me. Gonna go 8s, baby. So I'll just run these down into the holes and leave the dirt on there for some Loctite. So now I'm gonna double check it. I'll spin the engine over. Look how nice that fucker spins.
Yeah.
Super dialed. Now the crank's going to make 2 revolutions for every 1 revolution of the cam. So I had to spin the motor over twice to get it to line back up with this dot right here on the cam gear. So we're going to spin it. Kaboom. So these dots both should be like straight up and down.
Almost
So
fell
like
there.
the dot on the crank here, maybe you
Yeah.
can see a little better now. So the dot on the crank gear should literally be facing straight at 6 o'clock if the motor's flipped over backwards like this, otherwise it'd be 12 o'clock. So there you go.
Yeah.
Done. Timed. Way easier than a fucking Honda.
Yeah.
Now we're going to install the cover. This is the front timing cover. Christian already put some grease on the seal.
Yes, sir.
Look at all that grease already on there.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking mint. So this has a gasket as well. This guy. Right there. Probably going to put a little bit of RTV on this guy because she's a little old. She's a little old. A wee bit old. So I'm going to put a little bit of RTV on both sides of this gasket just to make sure it's going to seal good. And we'll ship it. Alright guys, so we ended up getting the front cover installed and the oil pump. I actually kind of did this already, I didn't film it, but the oil pump is held on by 4 bolts. Pretty simple. Just bolts on and then the gears line up with the gears on the crankshaft. Sorry for the heater, it's cold here in Wisconsin. But anyways, now we're going to be putting the windage tray and the pickup tube on, which this is a Melling high performance oil pump that I ordered off of eBay. And it comes with 2 different O-rings, and it tells you, hey, if the factory one was red, use their green one, and if it was blue, then use their black one. But ours was red, so we're going to put the green one on, and Christian is going to firmly grasp it and give her a little snug. I want to actually feel this, how it fits, because
Yeah.
this is a big thing on LS's, where the O-ring doesn't like... doesn't seal or whatever. Hang on a second. I'll hold that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to make sure that this thing fits how it should. Oh yeah, that's a nice fit. That's a nice fit. Yep, because sometimes these O-rings, you put the wrong one on or you put one that's on that's bad, and you won't have any oil pressure, or you'll have really low oil pressure.
Good.
So it's good to know that this thing fits nice and snug. There we go. So I wanted, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that that seated it good into there. We put some grease on the O-ring to help it slide on better. But now we're going to grab a bolt. This is like a, I don't even know what size.
Looks like an 8 mil or some shit. Just a wee little
I
guy.
found it. I just had it laying around.
Okay, Brent.
So we'll thread this guy down. Give her a right about there.
Give her a little, hey, how you doing?
And then we're just going to proceed to put all the windage tray nuts on. Nice and dirty. The rest of the motor's clean. Fuck this. I don't care. I'm in a rush. Got to get it done now. It'll be alright.
It'll be alright. It'll be
fine. Name that YouTube channel. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, now we just gotta snug these down. We cleared out the pickup tube, sprayed some brake cleaner down her snout, her snout.
If you didn't know, the windage tray says rear.
Yeah.
Right there. The rear.
I feel like if companies put on, instead of like rear or front, it should say, hey asshole, read this, make sure you do that. And they should stamp that right in. Then I feel like people would actually listen. Like, hey, this goes to the rear. Put her on the rear.
This goes to the rear area, guy.
To the rear. Give her a little rap rap. Rap rap. I'll double check them because I don't trust D-Walt.
Who's D-Walt?
You don't want to know. Well, D-Walt, you did a good job. Right before stripped, just how I like it. You want to go a quarter turn before stripped. And she's dialed.
Stop by you cocksucker motherfucker.
Alright guys, so we got the oil pan on. That's pretty easy. You just got to put it on and put the bolts in. Just make sure that the gasket's all there and part of the gasket's not missing, because if part of the gasket's missing, you won't have any oil pressure. If the part of the gasket by the oil filter housing is located, if that's missing, yeah, ask me how I know. My Regal. Anybody remember my Regal? I had a 1981 Buick Regal.
I think it was a boss.
It was fucking sweet.
Huh.
But anyways, we got the pan on, gaskets there, put the pickup tube on. You guys seen all that. So now we flipped the engine over, but first we had some chicken pot pies.
Yeah, emphasis on
The pot. So we got the pot pies in the motor, and now we're putting the cylinder heads on. But first, we need to install these ARP head studs. So I'm threading these into the block one by one, putting a little bit of lube on the threads. And before I install all these, I made sure that the holes were clean. You don't want a dirty hole, because then it won't go down all the way. So we're turning her in all the way till she bottoms out. Sometimes you can't put it all the way in, you only can put it so far. So you got to put it all the way till it stops.
life advice.
Yep, and then once it stops, we'll put our gaskets and shit on. Alright guys, so now that we got all the head studs threaded into the block, I'm going to put my new lifters in. So I'm just taking the old lifter trays, which are these guys right here, and I'm just kind of wiping them out, getting any lake flies or spiders out of here.
They're called lifters, but I keep calling them LMAs.
Oh yeah, they're LMAs, dude. The LMAs. So anyways, I got a set of Morel drop-in lifters. So I'm just going to put these guys in. They got a flat side on both sides that line up with the lifter tray. So I'm going to push them in like that. These are already pre-oiled out of the box. They're all full of oil, so hoping they'll be okay. If they're not, we'll find out. Okay, so now the tray is only going to go in one way because you have to put the little indentations in between the lifters facing up, because the push rods go right there. So we're just going to push this guy down on in there. There it goes. You want to push on them until they're fully seated. Thread the bolt in, tighten her down. And we'll proceed to do the other side now. Alright guys, so we got one of the cylinder heads already onto the motor. Everything's torqued down. Now we know what we're doing. I'll film something. And I'm just kidding. But anyways, I got some, these are just factory gaskets. And we got the surfaces all cleaned off. Bare metal, bare metal. I'm not going to copper spray this time. I usually always copper spray, but since these are brand new gaskets and we have brand new surfaces to work with, I don't think it's going to be needed. And yeah, so got the gasket pushed onto the studs. I have 2 dowels, one on each side on the bottom here. And this gasket's on wrong because there's a front and a back. So that's this front right there. I just put it on wrong. Does it really fucking matter? Front? Front. Front. What's the difference?
Flip it back over. Oh, nothing.
Oh, yeah, there is. The water jacket's on the back.
Oh.
See how there's none up here? There is some back here.
Yeah, did we do that on the other side?
It was front. Yeah, but these gaskets, they can go both ways. So,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They go both ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But this has to be front. It doesn't matter, you know, forward, backward kind of thing. This just has to face the front, which I did on that side. I hope. I did. Okay, so now that the gasket's on, we'll grab our minty new cylinder head.
Make sure you wipe it down with a clean.
Yeah, I don't know if... Do we have any clean rags I can wipe this off with, Christian?
Yeah, we got a black one right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Push the beer gut right in. Oh, I missed a spot.
Oh.
All right, we're good. Okay, so make sure you don't drop this, because that would suck. And then we're gonna take it. Say, hey, meet your new friend. Look at that. Man, it's fucking easy working on these motors, guys. It's kind of enjoyable. Kind of stupid. Just kidding. It's fun. It's all
Those are
good.
my little guys.
Okay, so now we have... Where'd the fucking washers go for the...
Oh, they're over on your chair.
Okay, so first you have 10 of these washers for each side. So you put them over the studs like this, like these, like these. Ow, my fingernail. Like these, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. Okay, that's it. Done. So now we'll take the nuts. Every squirrel needs a nut.
Is that true?
Yeah. Okay. Is there such thing as black squirrels?
Yes.
I did not know that. Me and my girlfriend seen one the other day.
Really?
Yeah. We're like, what the fuck is that?
You know, we have like one white squirrel in town. Swear to God.
Really?
Albino squirrel.
Must be what they're putting in the nuts. Okay, so we're going to take our ARP lube. And all I ever do is I just put a little
Hey, how you doing?
gob right on the bottom. And then you thread her on. It's kind of hard when you're holding a bunch of nuts.
Are you camera shy?
So we'll just get all these threaded in and then we'll go over the torquing of the nuts. Then I won't have so many nuts in my hand. Alright guys, so the heads are on and torqued. Didn't really go over it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You do 3 steps going like in a crisscross pattern when you tighten the bolts up. And ARP actually gives you a recommended torque setting and the sequence to do it in. So when you buy the studs, it comes with this. So 25, 50, 70. We went 25, 50, 80. But it's all good. A little tighter, never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So now that the heads are on, we put the valley cover on with the knock sensors. This thing's just held in with 10 bolts, plops right on, pretty simple. And now we're just going to put the balancer on the crankshaft. So Christian is heating it up with a torch and getting the end of it hot enough so it'll just push right on. Because, yeah, they're like a press fit thing. So easier to heat it up and have it slide on that way. works really good doing it this way. I've never really messed any seals up doing it this way. It just works. So just do it.
Kind of like a car. It just works.
Right. So we'll get this thing thrown on, and then I'm going to get to doing the rocker arms and the trunnion kit. What's going on, guys? So we ended up getting the motor all finished up, got the heads on, and got all the other stuff that we did on camera done. But got to call it a night because I was going to install the rocker arms and do the push rods and finish this damn thing up. But unfortunately, the seller on eBay that I got my trunnion kit for the rocker arms only sent 15 of the 16 trunnions that I needed. So I need 2 bearings for my trunnion kit to finish it and put my last trunnion kit in. So that's pretty stupid. That sucks. I gotta wait on that. But I got all the other trunnions installed into the rocker arms. I was gonna do a video on this, but we ended up live streaming tonight. But I put a trunnion kit in the stock rocker arms. They're pretty freaking sweet. So I was going to do all that, put that stuff back onto the new heads and everything, but like I said, couldn't do that tonight because, yeah. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did tune into the live stream, I greatly appreciate it. We had a bunch of fun tonight and just joking around and doing all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe, like the video and stuff if you enjoyed it. And we will see you in the next one, hopefully soon. And hopefully we'll have these trunnions within a few days so I can get this fucking thing running, because I want to make a pass on it this year yet. And it's getting fucking cold and starting to snow and stuff, so I don't know how long the track's going to be open. 2 hours south of here. Hopefully the weather holds out till November 1st, because I think that's their closing day. But yeah, like I said, I want to make a pass with this motor yet this year. We'll see if that happens or not. But yeah, anyways, have a good night, guys. We'll see you later.